Hello and welcome back. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And especially thank you for your dedication and commitment to your practice. Just that, whatever form that may take, welcome. These conversations are intended for everybody. Whether you're a student of A Course in Miracles or not, you will find something here. You'll hear something, and perhaps more than one thing, that you're meant to hear. Consider that you're here for a reason. So when something connects for you, understand that it is your inner teacher speaking to you. The Holy Spirit. You may call this whatever you wish to call it. It is part of our mind. In other words, the Holy Spirit's part of you. If you ever wondered what exactly that mysterious thing is, it's part of our mind. And we're invited to pay attention to it because it's speaking to you right now. This is just a pixelated image on your screen. It is. I'm fond of saying that. That's what you're looking at, isn't it? It's an assemblage of electronic dots. When something lands for you, it is the Holy Spirit. You may count on that 100%. Let's talk today about mind training. I know. Mind training. How exciting. This is actually the suggestion of my wife, Cindy, who said, as we were having coffee a couple of days ago, I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about mind training because people have a different idea of that here in the world. And well, she's absolutely right, isn't she? We tend to think of mind training as boring at best and negative, highly negative at worst, because often our minds go straight to the idea of brainwashing, of someone trying to indoctrinate somebody into their own individualistic, egocentric, ego-driven, mad, crazy ideas and stuff like that. Propaganda and the like. So, well, it's quite natural that our minds would go there because we think incorrectly that we're individuals. You heard that right. It's a mistake. To think that you're an individual ego is simply a mistake. And this course will help you correct that mistake if only you listen to the guidance of our inner teacher, which we're always invited to do. So, when this course insists, and it is quite correct, that it is a course in mind training, let's talk about what that actually means and why you should care. What's in it for you? If you're asking this great question, I invite you to ask that all of the time in spirituality, because we ask it in business, don't we? What's in it for me? Why should I care if we're going to make a purchase? We want to know what the benefit is to us. So let's talk about what the benefit is to you of mind training, which doesn't sound really beautiful on the surface, does it? It's not shiny. It's not sexy. I mean, really, it doesn't sound like it, especially when we're bombarded with people's social media feeds, and depending on whom you follow on social media, of all of these elaborate, exotic retreats and things here in the spiritual marketplace. There's a lot of shiny stuff aimed to help you get stuff, shiny stuff in the world. And then when you become dissatisfied with that shinier stuff, well, then you're invited to get more shinier stuff because that'll fix the problem, won't it? No? Welcome to A Course in Mind Training. Here's the deal. We don't see things as they are. We don't. We think we're individual human beings. You know that we're not, or you would not be interested in spirituality at all. That is what has us all on the spiritual path, is that at some point we have all formulated the idea, whether we were consciously aware of it or acutely aware of it at the time or not, we have all formulated the idea that there is way more to life. There is way more to our supposed existence. There's way more to our experience than just meeting the needs of a physical organism that is highly fallible. It doesn't last. And of course, there's more to it than that. That's what has us all on the spiritual path. Whatever that path currently looks like for you, or whatever it has looked like in the past, you're here right now, which is huge. That's directly relevant. This course is a universally themed self-study curriculum. This video and all of these videos are designed to help guide you, to answer questions that you may have, to serve as a help for you on your path, which is actually our path. So, why do we need this mind training? We don't see things as we are. We see them upside down and backwards. Deep down, we all know that there's more to it than just this human body that we mistakenly take to be us, and we call me, myself, and I. Yes. And we refer to the physical body, which is an extraordinary limitation. It is a gross limitation on communication, for starters. It is. It's limited. As wonderful as they may be, and as intricate as the human brain may be, and as miraculous as the body appearing to heal itself can be, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to captivate our attention here, but when we're continually dissatisfied with the way things have been, it's maybe time to look in a different place for your happiness. Yes. How about that? We're offered here a course in mind training because we need it. How about that? We need it. We see 8 billion, what we call people, 8 billion plus, individual self-sustaining survival units. We think that we're an individual, so we naturally assume that everyone else that looks somewhat like this is also their own individual, plus all of the other life forms that we appear to inhabit this spinning ball of rock with. You notice I say appear a lot. Deliberate. Yeah. They all seem like individual self-sustaining survival units of different, what we call species and things like that. That's what we see when we look apparently out with these little things here, the body's eyes. We appear to see separation, suffering, and extraordinary discontent, warfare, pandemics, plagues, diseases, pitched battle on every front. That's what we appear to see, and we're on the spiritual path because we know there's more to it than that. There's got to be a different way. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, our issue, problem, dilemma, quandary of our own making, of course, is that we're looking in the wrong places for our happiness. We all want the peace of God. That's what we all want deep down. It's why we're on the spiritual path. And even the people that don't appear to be interested in spirituality at all in this lifetime, and some of them may never be in this lifetime, they all want the peace of God too. That's what we all want. It's all that actually is. So it makes sense that that's what we all deep down want. This course in mind training invites us to want the peace of God and nothing else. We've been looking for the peace of God in the next shiny object, in the next romantic partner, in the next high paying job, or the next happy event, the next fine new wonderful set of threads, or a car, or stuff. Stuff. You know? We're looking for it apparently outside of ourselves. We should be looking within. It's an inside job. Enter a course in mind training, where we learn, under the guidance of our inner teacher, to clarify our perception. We don't see things as they are, we see separation. We learn to see oneness instead, one act of true forgiveness at a time, one communication with our inner teacher at a time, day to day, moment to moment. What does that involve? Training the mind to see things as they are rather than the way they are not. Training the mind to allow truth to simply be as it is rather than to try to manipulate and distort it, which is ultimately impossible and produces suffering on a big, grand level. This is all going on in our mind. So, this is very much a course about changing our mind. We learn to see with the Holy Spirit instead of the ego. We're choosing in the mind training, the guidance of the Holy Spirit instead of the madness of the ego, which we could choose as a guide. For sure, you could choose that right now. Actually, this conversation appears to be happening because we've chosen the ego as our guide. So here we appear to be needing this dialogue, needing it very, very badly, don't we? Yes, there's a great need for this here in the world. We're learning to see things as they truly are. Now, what happens when we do that is when we really, truly learn to see things as they are, we clarify our perception or we turn it right side up, it is upside down, then truth dawns of itself. That's awakening, enlightenment, liberation, the realization of God, whatever you wish to call it in words, and different traditions refer to this as different things. That occurs naturally and of itself once we have changed our mind, once we have clarified our perception. So if you really accept that you want the peace of God and nothing else because there is nothing else, then this can serve as perfect motivation for continuing to show up and do the work. Now, if you're still asking, okay, well, that sounds all really wonderful and well and good, but I've got a mess of stuff to deal with right now, today, and it's on my plate, and it is appearing for immediate, well, attention. Cat, why would you go through a course in mind training? Not only does it lead to awakening, learning to see things as they really are so that truth may dawn of itself, and you realize who, what, and where you are, which you've always known, and I know you know this. So I invite you to go there, please, and thank you. Signed, all of us. Okay? Allow that. Does it frighten you? No problem. We're not, after all, trained to think of ourselves as we really are. We think we're a human body. Yeah. Mm-mm. Now, while we appear to be here, here's what else is in this for you. A course in mind training. It is 100% possible, and you may know this from your own experience, that when you begin to forgive, when you begin to get in touch with the Holy Spirit and follow His guidance, when you begin to do this, you don't experience the world in the same way. And if you've done this for a while, you'll know from your own experience what I'm talking about here. As we show up moment to moment, relaxing and trusting the guidance of our inner teacher to run the show and guide and direct us. As we do this, day to day, moment to moment, we begin, and it may be very subtle at first, to experience the world differently. I invite you, especially if you're having one of those days where it doesn't feel like any of this is working, and we've all had them, very common. If you're having one of those days right now, there is nothing wrong with you. That is part of what we call the path. Welcome. Yeah. I mean, really. Think of where you were when you began this journey and where you are today, whether it was last week that you set out or whether it was 40 years ago. Makes no difference. Do the same things bother you? It is a very common experience to have something come up, could be today, could be in 15 minutes, that years ago would have driven you mad with rage, blind rage, or it would have annoyed you to no end. And all of a sudden today, the same thing happens. Maybe it's the same person that says the exact same thing in the exact same tone to you. And all of a sudden today, nothing. It doesn't bother you at all. And it's like it never even happened. Just nothing. That is a very good experience. It proves that this is working. And you may discover that you're a more forgiving person. You may discover that you're more patient, you're more chill, which is huge, by the way, to be really chill. It is. So you may discover that along the way. Moment to moment, would you rather be upset and anxious or calm and happy? Would you rather notice the good and the beautiful instead of the ugly and the annoying? Would you rather be calm or fearful? Would you rather be cheerful than depressed? Day to day, moment to moment, these are the things that can begin to happen when you apply these ideas in your daily life. That's what's in it for you right now, immediately. Do you want to have a better day? Do you want to have a better meeting? Do you want to have a better next 1 minute? Do you want to be happier than you are right now? Or than you were a minute ago? Day to day, moment to moment, you have the power to completely remake your experience right now in the present moment. This is not some ridiculous statement that people that talk about spirituality just kind of spout out because it sounds good. No, it actually sounds like work. Well, what the result is huge, and you should apply it. If you want the peace of God, what other time is there than right now to choose for the Holy Spirit, to choose truth instead of illusion, to choose forgiveness instead of blame? That's a big one. To choose love instead of fear, instead of hatred, to choose God instead of the ego. Yeah, we all have this choice that we get to make right now. This course, being a course in mind training, is all about practical application. That's how we learn. I mean, that's how we learn is by putting these ideas into practice. What happens when we genuinely and authentically do that rather than deluding ourselves into thinking, oh, yeah, we're kind of doing this, kind of, yeah, kind of is not at all. I know. Oh, I would say that. Well, the course says that. So, yeah, naturally, pixelated image is going to appear to say that. Hmm. Yeah, we apply these ideas. And when we really do that, our experience does something very powerful. It demonstrates to us, it shows us, proves to us that these ideas are true. That all of the stuff that this big, thick, huge document is talking about, that this apparition is talking about, all of these things are true. We prove it to ourselves through our own experience. Spirituality, of course, no matter what the tradition, is all about experience, practical application. This course stresses it. It's a course in mind training. We do the work in our own mind, and our entire experience is different. Want that? Good. Welcome. So I hope that you've found these past few minutes helpful in some way. Again, when something lands for you, whether it was one item or 15 items or more, it's the Holy Spirit that's speaking to you. So, quite naturally, we would all do well to do exactly as directed. That's what's going on right now. This is what appears to be my own directive here in the world. Yours may look completely different. And in fact, that should be the case because there are people out there that you can reach better than I can reach them. That's for sure. Why? They're in your orbit, they're in your circle of friends or acquaintances, your family. You have the ability to reach them with the love of the Holy Spirit. What will that look like? I don't know. Ask the Holy Spirit. He'll tell you. You don't have to turn on a camera and a microphone and broadcast to a worldwide audience. That's my own directive. Yours can look completely differently, and it should, because, well, there are people out there that you can reach better than I can, and you're meant to work with them. So I invite you to keep going. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. This is a very good forum for asking questions. And well, this dialogue itself was in response to a suggestion by Cindy. If you have those suggestions, if you think, okay, I would really like to have this topic covered here, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, what we do is we go through the text of A Course in Miracles, and either way, you're welcome to join us. Once again, you don't have to be a course student in order to derive extraordinary benefit from the message of the Holy Spirit. So please don't hesitate to ask questions if you've got them. And if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do that. That's the prompt here in the corner of your screen. Click that arrow. You'll be invited to subscribe and join us. And several videos appear each week. So thank you to those of you who have recently joined us. There have been a number of you in the last few weeks here. So welcome again. That's the prompt to subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will talk to all of you very soon. Thank you, as always, for joining me.